On February 5th, 2023, Harry Kane broke the all-time scoring record for his then longtime club, Tottenham Hotspur. The record was previously held by Spurs legend Jimmy Greaves, whose incredible tally of 266 goals stood for more than half a century before Kane came along and broke it. That historic goal, 1 year ago, underscores the generational talent and singularity possessed by Harry Kane. But in football, records and achievements are deemed useless in the eyes of fans if a player isn't succeeding in the moment. Words of flattery concerning a player's ability quickly subside, replaced by exaggerated proclamations that the player is finished or even a fraud, solely because they or their team are underperforming in the moment. The optics of a footballer's current situation begin to overshadow both the reality of their actual performance and past victories. This struggle against optics has accompanied Harry Kane throughout his career. The motivation behind his departure from his boyhood club Tottenham for Bayern Munich was his desire for trophies. The optics of Kane, a player who held the title of his club's top goal scorer, lacking a tangible piece of gold or silverware to accompany such a feat, cast a confusing shadow over his legacy.
Yeah, that's my aim, because when you're at a club like Tottenham, of course we've done well, and personally I've done well. But I want to be
it's not enough.
And Messi
Yes.
Football, ultimately, is a team sport, and winning trophies with your manager and teammates stands as the ultimate goal for any footballer. Even the most prestigious individual trophy in the industry, the Ballon d'Or, heavily relies on the achievements a player has obtained with their team and how they contributed and engaged with their teammates on the pitch.
Is it more important to win the Ballon d'Or or a Champions League?
The most important is to win Champions League, because you can win Ballon d'Ors and don't stay in the history, because you play with 10 players, you don't play alone. The football is the sport you play with a team, and I think if you want to win the Ballon d'Or, you have to win the Champions League. You can win the Ballon d'Or now without the Champions League. It's so important now.
So, for the sake of legacy, it makes sense why Kane would feel incomplete without a trophy to add to his list of achievements. I imagine he aims to win a trophy to put an end to the discourse and confusion surrounding his professional repertoire. And where better to go and win that trophy than Bayern Munich? The undisputed champions of Germany for over a decade, winning the Bundesliga title a total of 11 times in a row. Surely, this was the best decision for Kane's career. Surely, there was absolutely no way this move could go wrong. Yeah, it's safe to say that Bayern hasn't been having the best of seasons, to put it mildly. As of my writing this, the German club has lost its last 3 games consecutively, and rumours of turmoil and discord surrounding the player's relationship with coach Thomas Tuchel are dominating headlines and social media posts. Rumours that seem to have all but been confirmed, considering it's just been announced that Tuchel will be leaving the club at the end of the season. While Bayern exhibited signs of a slowdown last season, a fact that seems to be weirdly overlooked, this season is where issues have dangerously come to the surface. Alongside the chaotic relationship with the manager and the dressing room allegedly being in shambles, there have been obvious underperformances and failures from the team's backline in terms of defending. Additionally, there has been a stylistic switch from their more signature aggressive and dominating style of play to something safer and more predictable. To me, the fact that Bayern showed chinks in their armour last season under Julian Nagelsmann, who in retrospect wasn't doing anywhere near as bad a job as Tuchel was performance-wise, indicates that something more systemic is at the root of Bayern's problems. Tuchel definitely aggravated the situation, but I don't believe it's solely an issue of managers who aren't a fit for the team. But of course, this complexity is lost in the hands of Twitter trolls and neutrals who think a team's undoing can be pinned down to one player.
Kane lived a lot of hypotheticals,
but
now this is basically removing any hypothetical you can ever have of Harry Kane and just showing him for who people are going to now look at him, hold cold hard facts that you do not win. You are not a winner.
The shifting of blame towards Kane doesn't make sense to me. In fact, I would argue that Kane is one of the reasons Bayern isn't doing even worse than they already have been. Kane alone is not the problem. His 25 goals in 22 games would imply that he's successfully been doing what is asked of him as a striker. Instead of acknowledging this, people take sensationalized stories and narratives from social media and run with them because it's easier to do so than understanding the complexities of Bayern's situation. Now, this isn't to say that Kane is a flawless player and hasn't made any hiccups or mistakes during his time at Bayern. He has, and we should talk about them, because discussing and criticizing Kane's faults as a player on its own is fine. Part of our job as both spectators and fans is to speak out on weaknesses we see in a player and in a team. However, this is not the perspective that most of Kane's online critics speak from. They talk about the failure of Bayern as if Kane is somehow completely responsible for the shortcomings of an entire club, and imply that he is primarily responsible for the team's underperformance. This is the easy way out if you're just looking at the optics of a situation, and this is when optics become dangerous. Instead of looking at a situation holistically, considering all of the variables at play, people fall into the trap of believing the narrative that is the easiest and most entertaining to digest. Harry Kane being the reason behind an entire team's ruination is easy and entertaining. Harry Kane leaving Spurs trophyless, only to join an unbeaten club and be part of the team that makes them lose their title, is a poetic story. But it's a story that doesn't reveal the whole truth of the situation. That truth being that the club has deeper internal issues, which have been worsened by a manager who was a poor fit for the team. A truth that may not be flashy enough for some people to believe. I will say, the memes joking about Kane's situation are funny. The jokes comparing his problems at Spurs with his current dilemma at Bayern practically write themselves, but poking light-hearted fun at Kane isn't really the issue. The problem lies in not being able to differentiate trolling and clickbait from the truth. It's almost like we live in a hyper-reality now, where people can't differentiate between a take from a Twitter troll and the actual reality concerning a player or team. And because of this, their perspective on football is basically warped by the satirized commentary of the game they read online. Ultimately, only time will tell how Kane's tenure at the German club will unfold. The poetic tragedy of him never winning a trophy would be insane to say the least, which is why I don't believe that will be the case. As fans, all we can do now is watch everything unfold and enjoy the game. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm eager to hear your guys' thoughts on both the Bayern situation and Kane's time on the team so far. Drop your comments below and make sure to like and subscribe for more content from me. This has been Alexander. I'll see you in the next video.